XLY TV, Channel 4, Spokane.
Tomorrow night in Bloomington, Minnesota, undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes, defending his title for the 7th time against the challenger, tough Scott Ledoux, fighting in his home state. Then on Tuesday night, it's the 5th. And it's from this ring that we'll be bringing you 2 WBC World Championship bouts. Hello, I'm Chris Schenkel. Howard Cosell and I are in Bloomington, Minnesota, preparing for tomorrow night's live doubleheader. I'll be covering the scheduled 15-round super lightweight bout between the champion, Sol Mambi, going against the former lightweight champion of the world from Puerto Rico, Esteban de Jesus. Howard will do commentary on the heavyweight championship bout, which features the undefeated champion Larry Holmes going against a spoiler, a hometown favorite named Scott Ledoux. Howard had a chance to talk to both boxers.
Larry, is it possible for you to be up for this fight against an opponent like Ledoux?
Howard, I have to be. I have learned a lesson when I went into Madison Square Garden with the current heavyweight champion of the WBA side, Mike Weaver, and that proven to me that anybody can get up to fight a heavyweight title fight. That taught me to be ready for everybody, regardless what people say. I'm ready for Scott Ledoux.
In perfect truth, how long will it take you to put him away?
I would like to say 1 second, Howard, but if I said that, I would be lying. I don't really know. I'm going to go out there and do my thing, and when it's time for it to come, it will come.
Tactically, will you fight the way you fought Shavers the first time, using the ring, the quick lateral movement, the punishing jab, the occasional right?
No, I don't have to fight Scott Ledoux that way. He don't have the power that Shaver has. I think I will fight Scott Ledoux more so like I fought Leroy Jones. A little side to the left, a little bit to the right, and keep the jab in his face and shoot the right in there when it's open.
Basically in front of him now.
Right in front of him. If I get him backing up, I think the fight will end quickly.
And you still don't want to admit that you'll put him away somewhere between the 4th and the 7th rounds.
Somewhere around there, Howard, I have to kindly agree with you that I feel that he will go, because I just have too much more ability than these fighters out here today, Howard. I'm up on the plateau down that Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis and all them guys are up when they're in their day. Now I'm in my day, and I'm up so much higher than most of these contenders out here today. And I can't be blamed for that, Howard, because I'm just so good.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, Howard.
Scott, Larry Holmes says he'll do away with you between the 4th and 7th rounds, or thereabouts. Tremendous confidence. What do you say?
Well, I think he has a right to have the confidence. He's the heavyweight champion, but I have a great deal of confidence also. And I think that there isn't a man living that can knock me out. We haven't found him yet. I've been stopped on cuts and TKO'd, but no one's ever knocked me out. So Larry's not going to be able to do it.
What in your record makes you believe you can beat him? The man is an excellent boxer, superb jab. You've proved vulnerable to the jab. I think you'll agree to that.
I've had days where the jab has been very menacing to me, but I think when I fought Kenny Norton, we showed that we can fight the best and win, and subsequently we retired Kenny. A lot of people say it was his age. Maybe true, but we still retired him. We had a very good fight with him. We fought a Leon Spinks, who was the heavyweight champion at one time, and subsequently had a draw, which many felt we won. Very few felt we lost. We fought the best in the world. We've learned our trade the very hard way. We've come up the ladder. We've worked our way up the ladder, fighting the best. I think I've got the most experience.
Quick answer. Do you think it's working for you to be fighting in your hometown?
I think it's difficult to fight here, except for the one fact I have a lot of fans here and a lot of friends, and I've been able to stay at home while I've been training, and that's been very nice for me.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Howard Cosell with Larry Holmes and Scott Ledoux. Tomorrow night's championship bout, the first title bout in the state of Minnesota. And interest is beginning to build. There was great excitement with the arrival of Muhammad Ali, 3-time heavyweight champion. He always draws a crowd. That's tomorrow night boxing doubleheader. On Tuesday.
To do everything possible to win, no matter what.
It's strange because Ledoux is considered to be nothing more than a good club fighter by those same experts. But both were calm in today's weigh-in.
In a quarter, Larry Holmes looked fit and ready for his heavyweight title defense against Scott Ledoux. Meanwhile, the fighting Frenchman tilted the scales at 226 as the champion looked on with his baby daughter. For a Don King production, it was a quiet weigh-in until Muhammad Ali made a brief appearance to challenge Holmes to a fight. As the crowd chanted Ali's name, Holmes told the former champ he would have to wait his turn.
One at a time. One at a time. I only can fight one at a time. Ledoux first.
Dennis Dragg for CBS News, Minneapolis.
Spokane.
For Spokane.
Oh, what a feeling.
A Toyota feeling.
Rated Scott Ledoux, who comes off a fine victory over the previously unbeaten Marty Monroe. And the WBC Super Lightweight Championship.
This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Pontiac, taking on the world with know-how. By Head & Shoulders, because that little itch could be telling you something. And by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
That's the scene set live from Bloomington, Minnesota, Ring Center in the Met Center, some 500 yards from Metropolitan Stadium, the home of the Twins and the Vikings. Hello again, everyone. I'm Howard Cosell. Good to have you with us. We look for an interesting evening of boxing. Larry Holmes to defend for the 7th time his heavyweight championship. He is unbeaten in 34 attempts as a fighter, and he has a prime motivation tonight to go after a 7th consecutive KO defense. And as one takes a look at boxing history, the graphic will reveal to you that Tommy Burns of Australia has the record in that regard at 8. Joe Louis twice at 7. Joe Louis at 6. Larry Holmes at 6, seeking the 7th tonight. 3 others tied with 5. As for Scott Ledoux, he's rated a journeyman fighter by most, but he's got a heart as stout as his body. And he's got another motivation, too, the serious illness of his wife, to impel him to super effort if he's capable of it tonight. Also, coming up right now, the WBC Super Lightweight Championship bout. But first, in attendance, as you can see, the man trying to steal Holmes's thunder, Muhammad Ali, who presumably on October 10th will be fighting Holmes if Holmes succeeds tonight in Cairo, and we'll have more on that later in the telecast for you. But let's get to the super lightweight title bout. And the man who'll be... Thank you very much, Christopher. And let's take a look at Larry Holmes in his dressing room as he prepares to defend his crown against Scott Ledoux. Larry Holmes with a record of 34-0-0, 25 KOs. His best weapon, that punishing, stinging jab. He is a quick-handed, quick-footed fighter with excellent lateral movement for one in the heavyweight classification. And the right is used in combination often very effectively. His opponent, Scott Ledoux, is a different story. Characterized by most as a journeyman fighter, he has won 26, lost 8, drawn 4 with 17 KOs. He is a man with tremendous heart. He is a difficult man to knock out. He has been stopped on cuts. We talked earlier about the motivation prompted by the serious illness of his wife. You'll hear more about that later in the telecast. But for tonight, for this July 7th, it's everything to Ledoux. Here's Chris.
A talented fighter. We'll get the exact time for you. Is about 1 minute of the 13th round, a technical knockout victory for Saul Mambi. There's Don King, whose son Carl.
Right. Wrong. I want it with only natural ingredients. Hey, I can dig it. And in fact, Natural Light tastes so good, it makes me want to sing. Oh.
Natural Light. Taste is why you'll switch.
You know, 35mm photography's taught me. To make good pictures, you need good equipment, good film, and good paper, like Kodak paper.
World of Sports live. The WBC World Super Welterweight Championship rematch. Morris Hope defends his crown against former champ Rocky Mattioli Saturday.
Once again, as we get ready for the Larry Holmes defense of his WBC World Heavyweight crown, there is Larry in the dressing room. He's worked up the perspiration now, preparing himself. He has fought 174 rounds in preparation for this fight to make sure he doesn't take it, from his point of view, too lightly. He says he's learned his lesson from the dismal showing that he had against Mike Weaver, and yet he had enough against Weaver to come back with an 11th round uppercut when he had been in trouble against Weaver, and they had to stop the fight in the 12th round. Weaver had been benumbed by the Holmes uppercut. So this unbeaten man with his own goals to achieve, still in the eternal quest for suitable recognition, with much of his own recognition diminished here by the presence of Muhammad Ali, who has been putting on an act for 48 hours, almost relentlessly. Larry Holmes, wanting again to reestablish himself for the American public. Incidentally, that was a great fight you saw between Saul Mamby and Esteban de Jesus. Mamby, a late bloomer, an outcast from his own city. They wouldn't give him fights there at 33, coming into his own. Unusual, but a very popular decision or result. Correction. Now, Scott Ledoux in his dressing room. Scott Ledoux getting ready. Scott Ledoux, who has been bedeviled by the physical problems that have beset his wife, Sandy. A tightly knit family, with Ledoux finding his own order of priorities in life materially changed. It used to be boxing, but now, with a wife who's had the troubles I've alluded to, I think it's time that you met Scott Ledoux and Mrs. Ledoux and learned what his life is all about. That's his wife, Sandy, right there. They have 2 children. And now, let's take a look in some quickness and yet insightfully into the lives of Scott and Sandy Ledoux and their 2 children, Josh and Molly. Scott Ledoux lives with his wife, Sandy, and his 2 children, Josh, 4, and Molly, 2, in that comfortable, modest house in Anoka, Minnesota, a suburb of Minneapolis. And right next door to the house, he trains in that midget-sized ring for the fight against Holmes, but as he trains, he's bedeviled with worry about his wife.
My wife has had cancer, a couple bouts with cancer, one with her leg, and one with her breast. She had breast cancer too, and now she's having problems with her gallbladder. But all of them, seem to be under control right now, and things are taken care of pretty well.
When I went through the first thing with my leg, my mother is in her 70s, and she's very active, and she acts like she's 50. And I used to think, I hope that when I'm 70, I can be like my mother. I hope that I can just feel like she feels and do the things she does and have the outlook that she has on life. And all of a sudden, here I'm sitting at 31 years old, and I have skin cancer. And of course, it's when you first find this, it's all blown out of proportion. I mean, you kind of lose track of what it is actually that you're dealing with. But I start looking at the children, and I think, my gosh, am I going to make it to 35? You just can't even think that way. You just have to live every day the way it is and just enjoy it, and, I guess they say go for it.
Since she's been sick, I came to realize there was more to Scott Ledoux than boxing. There was his family, and I realized how much more important they were to me than a lot of things I thought were important. And I got my priorities in order. On July 7th, boxing will be the thing in my life that day. But for the rest of the days, there are other things that are more important and have priority.
Now you're looking at a live shot, temporarily covered by that fleeting photographer figure, but there is Sandy Ledoux with her little boy, Josh, just 4 years of age. And you want to know what hardships are, what troubles are? That little boy has a form of epilepsy, and yet under medication, that's now being controlled. There is Scott Ledoux in his dressing room, getting ready, because as he said, tonight it's boxing for tonight. After that, it's life. I'll be...
Coming up next, the WBC World Heavyweight Championship. Larry Holmes versus Scott Ledoux. This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Brute for Men by Fabergé. Make every day your Brute Day with Brute by Fabergé. By Gillette, makers of Right Guard. Yes, men count on Right Guard because men perspire more. And by Natural Light Beer. Taste is why you'll switch to Natural Light. Once again, from Bloomington, Minnesota, here's Howard Cosell.
This is the scene at the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. Scott Ledoux now in the ring, awaiting the arrival of Larry Holmes, the defending WBC heavyweight champion. Scott Ledoux, whom you just met, rather, as I noted insightfully, Scott Ledoux with far greater worries on his mind than this bout, and yet the bout means so much to him that for tonight, it means everything. And of course, knowing he has to go in front of that man, Muhammad Ali, who, as I told you, has been putting on a 48-hour act, stealing the show from Larry Holmes, plugging the potential bout of October 10th in Cairo, should it eventuate. It remains to be seen if it will. Ali against Holmes, should Holmes be successful tonight as Larry climbs into the ring. The man who was once Ali's sparring partner, a man who has developed so enormously, where grudgingly people who know boxing have said, yes, this is a solid, respectable champion. A man with a special motive tonight to tie Joe Louis's record of 7 consecutive successful knockout defenses. Earlier we showed you a graphic on that. Here it is again. Tommy Burns of Australia in the young 1900s with the record of 8. Joe Louis twice at 7. Joe Louis at 6. Holmes at 6. Going for 7 tonight. 3 others tied with 5. The rules for the bout, same as was set forth earlier by Chris Schenkel as he called for you the Sol Mumbi 13th round knockout of Esteban de Jesus. It's a 10-point must system. 3 knockdown rule has been waived. Mandatory 8 count. Fighter can be saved by the bell only in the 15th round. The referee and 2 judges will be scoring the fight. And as for the officials, the referee is the familiar Davy Pearl from Las Vegas, Nevada. The judges, Richard Steele from Los Angeles, Harold Letterman from Orangeburg, New York, home of one of the great staging areas in World War II, Camp Shanks. Now the tale of the tape. That age is wrong. Larry Holmes is 31. Scott Ledoux is 31. Holmes has the height edge. Holmes has the reach edge, and it's a good edge there. That's the consequential statistic. The weights speak for themselves. You can expect Scott Ledoux to maul and brawl in the early going and to try to cut Holmes down to an absence of ring movement. All right, let's go to Chuck Van Avery now with what's left of the ring introductions, the pertinent part.
Dwight Davis, undefeated middleweight. Let's give him a hand. The 3rd best heavyweight in the world, Mike Note. Ladies and gentlemen, the main event. The main event of the evening, scheduled for 15 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world. Blue corner. He's wearing blue trunks with a red and white stripe. He weighs 226 pounds. From Crosby, Ironton, Minnesota, here he is, Scott Ledoux.
The local favorite, Scott Ledoux. There is wife Sandy and son Josh. Scott Ledoux. This is the first heavyweight championship bout ever held in the state of Minnesota. And Larry Holmes' introduction now.
with the black stripe. He weighs 213 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, the heavyweight champion of the world.
The expected antipathy for Larry Holmes, who is a resident of Easton, Pennsylvania. He's known as the Easton Assassin. The usual baleful stares exchange, part of the histrionics of such an event. And we're almost ready to go. As Christopher noted earlier, this is an 18-foot ring. There was some controversy surrounding it. As late as this morning, it was 17 feet 4 inches. Rich Giacchetti, the manager of Holmes, insisted that the ring be 18 feet. He knows that in the early going, at least, Ledoux tries to get to the inside and to use that relatively massive upper body. Ledoux has historically been susceptible to the jab. Holmes moving laterally both ways. Dominant weapon, that quick jab, which punishes, which stings, and which can cut. Saw Ledoux missing wildly. To round one. And Ledoux has not yet gone inside. The jab keeping him off. We are 2 minutes into the round. This point, Larry Holmes is doing exactly what he wants to do. Crowd yelled over the right hand by Ledoux. The problem with Ledoux's punches are he has a tendency to loop them as we approach the end of round one with Holmes in total charge. We're back live at the Met Center, Bloomington, Minnesota. Round two coming up. The first round, a superb left-hand demonstration by Larry Holmes, who must have scored 40 to 50 blows to one for Scott Ledoux. This arena is the home of the Minnesota North Stars, who so surprised in the National Hockey League this past season, eliminating the famed Canadiens from the Stanley Cup playoffs. Straight and stiff that left is, and Ledoux seemingly defenseless against it. Look at where Ledoux keeps his left arm. Down below. Suicidal to try to fight a Larry Holmes that way. occasionally pawing. Larry not using a lot of movement. He had told me before the fight that he didn't need to use as much movement as he did against a puncher like Shaver, that he could stay out front of Ledoux and dominate with the left. Ledoux keeping the right cocked, hoping for a wild swing that will land. Minute 45 into the round. 2 minutes into this, the second round. Rich Giacchetti, the manager of Holmes, calling for Larry to use the right in combination with the left. Well, Larry just tried and missed. 35 seconds left in the round. Good quick right that snapped Ledoux's head. Oh, you saw the right. Now he's responding to Giacchetti's exhortation. We are close to the end of round 2, and Holmes' performance speaks for itself. Best match at this point.
I haven't used my antiperspirant.
Commercial didn't roll, so we'll keep our eyes momentarily on Scott Ledoux. He's over in the corner there with his people, Joe Daskowitz, Chuck Daskowitz, the cut man, and the assistant trainer, Lou Hawkinson. Wow. Over in Larry Holmes' corner, the familiar septuagenarian of boxing, Freddie Brown, the man who was so great for Roberto Duran against Sugar Ray Leonard in Roberto's corner, and the man whom Vito Annafermo missed so much in London when Alan Minter creamed Vito.
Keep that little bounce. Right. Keep that little bounce. Let's go.
And there is Sandy Ledoux, the wife of Scott Ledoux, who can't be happy about what she's seen thus far. The bell for round 3. We are live from the Met Center, Bloomington, Minnesota. Quick hands getting the punches in there before Scott can even seek to respond. Yeah, pawing left by Ledoux. You can count Ledoux's punches on the fingers of one hand. Ledoux got in a right to the belly, but it was not hard. The crowd will respond at anything that Ledoux does. Right by Holmes. Wild right lead by Ledoux, but Holmes picking and choosing. 6-inch difference in reach shows itself again and again, and Holmes' ability to slip punches with his head shows itself. Holmes slipping a punch there, answering with a right, and then following with a left. Good stiff left and another. He doubled up. Now Larry dancing on his toes. He's just having a workout. Those of you who've seen Ledoux fight before know that he always carries his hands this low. It's another source of vulnerability, as a quick combination by Holmes scored. We're coming up to the 2-minute mark in round 3. terrible mismatch up to this point. I feel especially sorry for Ledoux because of what you've learned about his wife and about their little son, Josh. 10 seconds less than that now in the round.
I haven't used...
The bell for round 4 between rounds, a big demonstration put on by Muhammad Ali on his feet, shadow boxing, trying as if to establish that he can still fight with the old hand speed and the old foot speed and that he can take Holmes as he seeks to tub thump for the projected match in Cairo, October 10th. In the meantime, Holmes is busting up Scott Ledoux's face. It has been as one-sided as anything you'd want to see. True, we've only gone 3 rounds, but you don't like to see people hurt. We have just had, tragically, the 5th death of a boxer within the past year. Cleveland Denny died, the young man who was knocked out by Gaetan Hart in the 10th round at Montreal's Olympic Stadium on June 20th past. About the next time you hear a crowd yell at the referee for stopping the fight. In the 20th of the round, and you saw the Holmes right. Holmes is taking his time. He knows exactly what he's doing. Left. Come on out, come on out. Minute 15 left. It's round 4. Ledoux raised the roars of the crowd with an intended right that unfortunately missed. Somewhere, out of nowhere, Ledoux can pull a 2-ton Tony Galeno. After all, he once knocked Joe Louis down. But it would have to be that kind of thing. Rich Giacchetti yelling constantly, take it to him. You're busting him up. Seconds left and less. Larry Holmes is pitching a shutout. We're back for round 5. Ali having just again stolen the scene, standing, shadow boxing, towel thrown to Ali from Holmes's corner. But Holmes has to get back to the task at hand. Sitting next to Ali, by the way, the MVP in the Pro Bowl game of 2 years ago, one of the greatest wide receivers in football, Ahmad Rashad of the Minnesota Vikings. Ahmad has a lot more movement than Scott Ledoux. Tell you, where Ledoux holds that left hand, he is so vulnerable to the right that it's almost frightening. Every round has been the same. I'd like to alert our stations along the line that we'll take a station break at the end of this round. Why don't you sit there at home and count the lefts? And the right. 45 seconds left. Kenny telling Holmes to keep his rhythm. Blows, but forget it. We'll have more championship boxing from Bloomington, Minnesota after this from our local stations.
Good evening. A man in his 50s is believed to have drowned late this afternoon in the Spokane River. Well, that's...
That was Ali. Perhaps you had a quick glimpse of him, the kind of act he's been putting on between rounds. Really, it's more than we're seeing in the fight itself, which is how bad a mismatch this has been. Well, look at that right. See the way poor Ledoux left himself open for it? First he hurled a wild right, a looping right. Didn't have real power behind it, and at the same time his left was at his side. One thing about Ledoux, he can absorb punishment, but you don't like to see it administered so freely. Ledoux did land a right. And a good one. Minute 35 into the round. It is sixth round action. I want to call it that. They're right above us, and Ledoux remains a punching bag. Ledoux scored with the second right of the round. That induced the cheers. Seconds. There you go. I think he claims he was thumbed. And at the same time, a mouthpiece. Well, it's an 8 count. Mandatorily. So it's got a knockdown. This thing is close to over. Round in the fight. Call it. Are we here? working over the left eye of Ledoux, which has now been absolutely closed. Earlier in the round, Ledoux with a wild right, and then Holmes coming in with his right. Now, let's look closely, and let's see if we can detect, again, a missed wild right. A right by Holmes, and that was the one that did it. I didn't see a thumb there, and that's what closed his eye. You saw Ledoux go up to the eye. There it was again. Another shot. I wonder if they're going to let this thing continue. This is hardly prime time fair. Yep, they're going to let it go on. The left eye of Ledoux's is just about closed. He's a one-eyed fighter now. And Holmes wanting to finish it right off. Ended a strong right. This is the 7th round. They've got to stop it. Really must. Davy Pearl going in there. Now let's see. Is he having the doctor take a look at it, or is he finishing it off? The doctor is looking at that left eye. The ring doctors are Gerald O'Brien of Minneapolis and Dr. John Salchert of Minneapolis. All right, he approves the continuance of the fight. Clock had stopped, of course. Resumes. 2 minutes left in the round. And Holmes just mercilessly busting up the opponent. Now the decision has to be the referee's, Davy Pearl. He's got the authority to stop the fight. No one else. Blood coming out of the corner of that shut left eye. Minute 15 left in the 7th round. Looking at Davy Pearl, virtually begging him to stop the fight. And the referee will not stop it. The beating continues. Now, Davy Pearl is stopping the fight. Interesting, isn't it, that the crowd boos? And Joe Daskowitz, the corner man, is screaming, complaining, after what you have just seen. On the ring apron and trying to crowd into the act. We will, of course, be talking with Larry Holmes. This was a sad thing. A little more to be said. You see him on the ring apron, trying to steal the scene. Not a happy moment for anybody. As the crowd continues to boo the decision to stop the contest, and the referee was belated in that.
To those in the know.
We're waiting for Larry Holmes to come down in one of the unseemly demonstrations I have witnessed. The crowd has been throwing peanuts and beer down toward the ring, and they are still doing it, objecting to the discontinuance of this contest. I mentioned the death of Cleveland Denny. We don't want blindness in the ring either. And Scott Ledoux's left eye was a hideous thing to see. Here's Larry Holmes with me now. Larry, congratulations. Here is the camera. Larry, first of all, that was a really hideous beating that you administered to Ledoux. He was utterly defenseless against the jab. Isn't that true?
Yes, how he was. But he's a little awkward. And it took me like 2 rounds to get the jab working. And once I got the jab working, I had no problem.
Now, the right, the one that shut his left eye. At first, I thought he claimed you thumbed him. Did you in any sense thumb him?
Well, Howard, to me, I hit him with an uppercut as he was coming in. He threw overhand right, and I countered with an uppercut. And caught the up of his eye like this. Because when I threw him an uppercut, bottom knuckle lands. And it gashed his eye there. And I can see it. How can you thumb a guy when you're throwing punches 100 miles an hour?
All right. Now in the 7th round, you virtually begged the referee, Davy Pearl, to stop the fight. You didn't want to hurt him anymore. Isn't that true?
Right. Which I told Scott Ledoux that I won't hurt him. I predicted to the guys in the corner in my dressing room, his guys, 6th round, but I figured we'd go 8 because he was starting to puff up as soon as the jab got working. As you know, they put a lot of grease and stuff on him, keep him from cutting. But
over both eyes. Now, almost incredibly, this crowd continues to boo the discontinuance of the fight, throwing debris into the ring. What is your reaction to that as a fighter?
Well, I'm in Scott Ledoux's hometown, and I respect the reaction, especially when we got a big mouth behind us, Muhammad Ali, and he's been around boxing millions of years, and people think he still can come back, but he can't come back, and I pray to God he don't, because if he come back, it's not going to be a fight like a Scott Ledoux. It's going to be a crucified fight, and Ali's going to be one getting crucified.
All right. One other question. Since you brought up Ali, do you, in fact, believe that you will fight Ali in Cairo, Egypt on October 10th?
I don't believe nothing until I see it. I signed 3 contracts already, and none of the fights have come. But if it do come, I'll be ready to fight Ali. But not until I see it, not until the bell rings and I go into the ring. There's a whole lot of talk, but we all know a lot of talk and all the bull stuff can walk.
Right there is Ali doing what he's been doing all night. Your reaction to that?
I think it should go into show business, Howard, and get out of fighting. He's jealous. He's an envy man. Didn't give me my just dues when I was the top contender. He went all around the world fighting all other bums. They never denied, always denied Larry Holmes the opportunity. Now that I'm a heavyweight champion of the world, and he's broke, and he needs money, he wants to come back and give me a fight, fight me. I'm the only man who can give Ali a fight. I'm the only man who can get the money that Ali needs. If he keeps it up, he will starve. I will not give him a fight because he needs me, and I don't need him.
Okay, my friend, you've spoken your piece. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Howard.
Take care. Congratulations to you, Rich Giacchetti. All right. That's the story here at ringside in the Met Center. We are live. Holmes has won in the 7th round. I'll be talking with Ali in a moment.
Light beer, Mr.
Too darn much courage. Scott Ledoux. Scott, how do you feel at this point?
I'm disappointed. You know, I caught a thumb in the eye, and my eye went shut for a while, and they stopped the fight. I thought they should have let it go. I mean, I could see he couldn't put me away, for God's sake. My eye was so bad, why wasn't he scoring?
Well, it was obviously the left jab, Scott, was always present and had to keep you off balance. But you did land a couple of good right hands.
We landed some good right hands, and we were fighting our fight. We said before the fight, we wanted to take him into the late rounds because that's what we're best at. We got endurance, and we get going. We wanted to carry him that far. We knew he was getting tired. He was tired of missing. We know he was missing a lot of punches.
Scott, you're wearing the badge of honor that often happens to a fighter. We've seen it often. Just look into that camera and give the folks an idea. Now, you feel that it was a thumb on the right hand that he threw that hit you there in the eye.
I don't think it was the right hand. I think it was the left hand, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was the left hand. Caught me with the thumb over in the corner over there. I was bent down. He caught me with the thumb, and that's why I dropped, because it was an unbelievable pain when I got the thumb. I went down. I couldn't open my eye up right away.
Scott, watch this monitor now, and we're going to take a look at the replay. Here it comes. Now, you watch. This is why it's very difficult to see.
I know he didn't hurt me.
There's the, see, that's where he had the thumb.
See the thumb, see the thumb. Through the eye, see the eye, see the eye, see the eye. Show it again. Just show it again.
All right, we're going to show it again, Scott Ledoux.
You see the gloves?
Let me tell you, you're the man that caught it, whatever it was, so you know the feel between that and a punch.
I know. Watch the right glove. You watch the right glove.
Right here. Now watch. This is where it is.
Watch the right. Oh, I can't see it, Joe. Different angle. Look at my eye. See my eye? See how much put my eye? I'm not, I take a hell of a shot. That little thing ain't gonna hurt me.
I know.
See, leave me hold my eye. Why am I holding my eye? I can't see. Thumb me right square in the eye. It hurt. That's all.
I don't believe we have another view of it. Let's look at it one more time. Here is another view of it now, Scott.
Show. I know I'm a controversial fighter, and they say I'm a crybaby, but I'm telling you the truth. The guy thumbed me the right hand. It was a good fight. Felt he was ahead in the fight, but we had our fight plan. See the thumb?
Now you see the thumb?
Well, from that angle,
see the thumb.
it looked like a pretty big digit came out of there. It looked like a thumb coming off the glove. Yeah. From that angle, I hope we can play it one more time, Scott.
I hope so.
Because
it did show.
Because from a punch, I don't think you go down holding the eye. You'd be knocked silly.
I'd be dropping.
That's right.
I wouldn't be grabbing from a. I wouldn't be dropping. And how did this happen from a? Does this happen from a punch? I never seen an eye like that. I mean, 100 punches.
Look at this. If you can't tell me that is an inside punch with a thing.
Something came up from underneath. I got to tell you, I'm looking at that cut now, and the mouse under it, Scott.
I thought we could win.
How heavy were his punches? His jabs?
His jab was missing me most of the time. He caught me one good jab in 6 rounds. The rest of the jabs were flicking jabs. I fought the best. I fought 5 world champions. I've been in the ring with him. He doesn't compare to any of the ones the way he hits.
Let's go, Scott. Where do we go from here?
We keep trying. We keep trying. We keep working and get another shot.
You just enjoy the fight game, don't you?
It's my business. I'm good at it. I work hard at it, and I love the game. It's the most beautiful game in the world.
Well, Scott, darn it, loser interviews are the toughest ones to do. Now I've done 2 from Minnesota. Dwayne Bobick against Tate, and son of a gun, now you. They're tough to do. I feel sorry.
I don't feel like a loser. I got thumbed in the eye. A loser's when he's beaten. I never got beaten. I got thumbed in the eye.
Scott, I admire you for your courage and the fact that you came out here to talk to me on national television.
Chris, I've never been ashamed of anything I do.
I know.
I'm a proud man. I believe in what I do.
Your family's proud of you, too.
I got a super fan.
Okay, we're going to come back to Bloomington, Minnesota, talking with Scott Ledoux following this message. So it ended at 2:05 of the 7th round, and the previous bout ended at a minute of the 13th round. Mombi retaining his championship.
knows that an equally active
21.
Here at ringside in Bloomington, Minnesota, a disturbingly unruly crowd still around us. I'm with Muhammad Ali. I want your reaction to the event.
Embarrassing. It was a disgrace. The dude just wasn't the man. Holmes punched him to death. They should have stopped it early. He's cocky, he's shot, he was getting tired, he's punching nobody. You wait till I go. I want all of you to know that I'm coming back, and I'm going to destroy Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes has a chance. I'm going to come back. I'm 4-time champ. I promise you, I destroy Larry Holmes. He's nothing. He's got no class. He's still my sparring partner. He hasn't improved, not at all. That's why I came to watch him, and I promise you, I'll wipe the ring with him. There's no way the man he's got no class with me.
Now that you've gone through that.
I'm waiting. Going through nothing. I'm ready.
Wait a minute. Look at yourself. Are you prepared, no matter what you say about Holmes and your tub thumping for the bout, are you prepared to go against a man that many years younger?
Man, you're crazy. He's 7 years younger than me. So what? My boxers in my amateur club are 10 years younger, man. I'm faster than them. I whoop Holmes tonight. The way he looked, I'm 230. I would have whooped Holmes tonight. I tell you what, I wouldn't come back and go out a loser. If I'm 3-time champ. I'd be a fool to come back if I didn't think I could win. I'd destroy Holmes. I want all of you to read my words right here. I'm back. And I'm going to show you how great and how class I am. I'm going to start. There'll be no contest. Holmes will be no contest for me.
Would you have stopped the fight sooner?
I think I would have stopped it much sooner, about a round sooner.
Okay.
But no class.
All right. Good luck to you.
I'm telling you all, wait and see if I ain't the king. I'll destroy him.
All right. And so, Muhammad Ali is back in a sense. Whether or not he will truly be able to come back as a fighter remains to be seen. Certainly, he is doing his very best to promote the projected fight in Cairo. And in the meantime, here at Bloomington, we'll be back after this from our local stations. Its own injuries too, and we look for a much better battle than we had originally anticipated. We had a sad battle here. It was no battle at all. It was a gross mismatch. We're sorry about that. Larry Holmes still easily the champion. 7 consecutive successful knockout defenses, tying Joe Louis. That's the story for Chris Schenkel and me from Bloomington, Minnesota. Good night, everyone.
This is ABC.
ABC version